He's an old front rower from Queensland.
Still got the cauliflower ears to show it. No cauliflower ears here, an old winger from New South Wales. Boo!
And he reckons we're an odd couple. Don't know why.
We still are. It's rather odd we're still mates, I don't know.
And back together here at North's Leagues and Services Club at Kalanga in Brisbane.
Doing what we do best, talking rugby league. Join us
For the Odd Couple.
Well, welcome to our second podcast. Who would have believed? I thought we might only get to the number one, but it's great to be back again to have a look at a bit of a review of the second State of Origin and, of course, previewing the third and decider we hoped it would be. And with me again, an old winger and an old front rower, the odd couple, Warren Boland. Welcome again, Warren. And, you know, we've got the decider we wanted.
Yeah, David, looking forward to it. But before we move, what's going on here? You've sort of... things have changed. You're not in your casual wear today. You're in your formal wear.
Well, mate, that's a very good segue, you know, because what happened was, after we'd done last week, a lot of people were asking about this category of honorary Queenslander that was bestowed on you.
You were bestowing, yes.
Well, you know, check the eligibility rules, and it made that because you've been in Queensland now for 30, 40 years, 30 odd years, he's become an honorary, but never did he become a true Queenslander, right? So look, after we did because we want to balance the bias and give a Queensland perspective, I went over and saw Ross Strudwick, who's got a terrific business over at Yatala on the south side. And I said, Struddy, can I get a jersey off you? We can put up the, you know, it's got the logo on.
It fits you very nicely.
And North Leagues Club.
It's even got the odd couple on it.
So, mate, and I said to Ross, I said, mate, any chance of getting Warren a Blues jersey? He said, no bloody way.
Doesn't sell them.
Yeah, well, he does, but he was no way he was going to, you know, if we're the Queensland voice, he's saying, well, that's a bit too. Now, which is interesting, you know, because he's in a similar situation doing it. He was born in New South Wales, came up to Queensland 10 years earlier, right? But he now is actually committed to be a Queenslander. Yourself, I know, mate, there's a bit of a decision for you.
Right.
I begged him for you to get a jersey. He said no.
Wouldn't do it.
He said, no way. He said, am I going to get him up there with a blue jersey on? So I thought, what am I going to do? So I thought, I better check this out. So,
well, it's very kind of you to be trying to look after me anyway.
Well, mate, I did mean well. And I thought, how am I going to decide whether you're actually, I think you're an honoured Queenslander because
I've lived longer in Queensland than I have resided in New South Wales, where I grew up.
Mate, I'm big on independent. You know, if you have a bit of a conundrum, you know, how do you sort it out? So I got on a Wally, the king.
The king.
I said, Warren, we want him to be an honorary Queenslander.
But
and Wally said,
did you ask him, would he crown me?
No, he actually said he'd banish you, mate. He said, under no circumstances do you qualify for being, even an honorary Queenslander.
Right,
it gets worse.
Go on your wall, thanks, Evan.
It gets worse, mate. I got on a Mal. He's over in Perth at the moment. He said, I know how Warren feels. He said, I'm trying to assimilate to Western Australia, and it's not bloody easy. So, mate, here I am. All the doors are being closed. So I thought, looking back into
You've been very busy making all these calls.
Well, mate, I had to get to the bottom of this. So I thought, seeing we're doing State of Origin now, I'll get on to Billy Slater and see what he thinks, because he'd be...
Billy had nothing else on his mind.
Well, mate, but if you remember, you and I called Billy Slater and Greg Inglis when they were playing for North on their way. So, and I said to Billy, what about Warren being an honorary Queenslander? He said, Warren who? He also said David, who I might answer. Then I thought, mate, what am I going to do here? If anyone's going to approve it, it'd be the wingers. So Selwyn Cobbo, they're training with JJ Fafita.
This is a long-winded story.
Mate, even the wingers wouldn't support it. So I thought, what am I going to do? I'll go back and see Struddy, see what he can do. So, mate, he's got a terrific business out there, manufacturing jerseys. And he's come up with one, mate. Just, here it is here, mate. Just have a look at that. Hold that up, mate, and just see whether you're okay. As somebody born in New South Wales, there's the born in New South Wales, lived in Queensland, turn around to the other way as well.
50-50, eh?
So, mate, you've got
Honorary Queenslander.
So you now have to put that on now to qualify for Honorary Queensland to continue with the. So I'd like you to
Well-
whack that on, mate.
Well, David, that's very kind of you, and it's a great jersey. I really do like it.
Oh,
and
great.
and yeah, as an honorary Queenslander, I think it fits the bill. But I've already got one,
no.
David.
Oh no, I shouldn't have told you before. Put that away.
I've already got my own, Dave.
Just give us a look, mate. Just give us a look.
Don't wipe your nose on
No, I wasn't. I'm going to throw the thing. Come on, mate.
it. Well,
whack that
no,
on.
this is very special, I've got to say, and I think it'd be unique. Is there? Does
Mate,
anyone else you know got one
Well,
like this?
it may well be, and therefore, mate, if you want to sign it, we could auction it off some stage, you know. They'll say Warren who, though. But you've got the name on the back as well. I have to show mine. Here's Righty's name on the back. So well done by Struddy. Struddy Sports. Well, mate, I think that really suits you. If you just turn a little bit that other way so I can't see the blue. And, mate, what will happen here today, because you did sort of teeter a few times on the New South Wales sort of point of view the last time we did it, when you introduced Swat Ali's tackle was similar to Ponga's.
Oh yeah.
Mate, this could be, you might have to turn, you know, so we block out the blue. There could be the blue side.
mean-
I'll say to you, mate, you're worrying your honorary membership if your blue side
What
coming
if I
in your comment.
if I compliment Queensland, I should turn like this? Is that what
Absolutely.
you're saying?
And don't be that way too often, you know.
Right, okay. All right.
All right.
Well,
mate,
but no, I got to say, it is a great honour to be an honorary Queenslander.
well,
David,
mate,
you
you've
know.
deserved it, mate. One of the things you said the other day, and it's so true, and both of us, let the players decide. You know, I mean, we all love a good game of footy. Sure, we've got our allegiances, but at the end of the day, you know, all we want to do is see it, especially from a commentary point of view.
Well, I think that's what you and I think.
Yeah.
But I think the majority of people don't feel that way.
Well,
I think the majority of people just want the win no matter how they get
you're
it.
probably right, yeah. And that brings the referee into play, but we'll talk about him later on because...
The man in the middle.
Yes, Ashley Klein is back for the third game of the series, and as we said, we're hoping it to be a decider, and of course it is, and it'll be a fantastic game coming up. But mate, what we thought we'd do is obviously preview that game, but we should first have a look at what happened in the second game, right? We analysed the first game the last time we were on, so I think it's important when you look at it. Queensland scored 7 tries. And I think it was 7 tries to 3 or 4 by New South Wales. So the turnaround from the previous one, okay, Ponga was sent off in the previous one, that changed the whole game. But this game was different again.
The first one I said, and I think most people agree, that Queensland would have won that game if Ponga
Yes.
didn't get set off.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
put that to bed. That's New
Yep.
South Wales get on the board, but Queensland, you know, very unlucky.
So Queensland set up, both New South Wales and Queensland set up their sides for State of Origin 2. Big expectation. New South Wales could have won it straight away. We'll talk about Laurie Daly shortly too as the coach of New South Wales. But if you remember, mate, we kicked, once the second State of Origin, MCG, massive crowd, so the atmosphere was great. Queensland get an early penalty right in front. Tactically, take the 2 because it's too easy, you don't do it, right?
And by the way, that should not have been a penalty, but that's minor detail. Move on. We'll
Mate,
move
no,
on.
hang on, mate. You're already in jeopardy.
That was anyway. Yeah.
So that was for the knockdown on the dummy half.
Topic for another day.
No, but it was for the knockdown of the arm.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
after Harry Grant moved about a metre away from the ruck. This
see-
is the ridiculous. Here we go. This is the minutiae of the game. The new rule they brought at the beginning of this year is that you're not allowed to knock the arm of the dummy half before he gets the
Just
pass away
releases,
from the ruck.
yeah.
But if the dummy half moves away from the ruck, then he's fair game, and that is clearly what happened in that occasion. And I think the rule is, because I've been watching it happen in a number of games all season, more in the last few weeks actually.
Yeah.
And if he moves away, you've got to be able to tackle him. And all he did was hit his arm after he had moved away. It was dead set, not a penalty. But anyway, that was only 2 points in the scheme of the game.
An honorary Queenslander role, mate. We've got off on a... But look, I know what you mean. The rule was there that if somebody reaches around and knocks an arm,
exactly.
then the guy is still in the position of dummy half. So you're thinking he cleared it a bit.
Absolutely
and therefore
cleared
you can
the ruck.
knock at an arm like any other tackle.
Yeah.
So that's fair. All right.
2-0.
2-0.
44-24, the final score.
And the kickoff to start play again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Tom Flegler comes on the burst, as front rowers do these days. Back in our day, the fullback and the winger stood in the end goal area and caught the ball. All the forwards were up the front, so we got this new pattern of play, or has been for many years. Big front rowers taking up probably the toughest ruck of the game, the one off the kickoff. Flegler unfortunately fumbles it, and New South Wales also
a gift try.
Yeah, scratch around, and Stags, I think, eventually.
Well, actually, they reacted pretty well. Nawaka Kwanita Wasa gets the ball, hooks it back, Stag scores. But, yeah, obviously, New South Wales did nothing to earn that try.
It was a fluke, wasn't it?
I wouldn't quite go that far.
So, okay, that's the first up score for New South Wales. They lead by 6 points to 2. And then Queensland are playing pretty well. But again, through a fortunate try, New South Wales on the attack close to the try line. Cleary puts a little rubber kick through. I think Munster was there. It rebounds off Munster, ends up in the hands of Noah Konatawasi, and he gets across. But again, another fluky try, you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think any time you score a try like that where it bounces and ricochets, clearly there's a lot of luck involved.
Yep.
The only thing about it any time is you've got to be in that position on the field to have put the kick in. So you earned the position on the field to cause a bit of chaos with a kick.
Yes.
And so, yes, Munster was a bit unlucky. The ball bounces away from him. Yeah, I mean, there's clearly an element of luck. There's luck, and as Billy Slater always talks about, reacting to moments in the game. And New South Wales took advantage of that moment.
They took the chance.
But yeah, an element of luck in both tries. But they're on the board at 12 points to 2.
And that's about 23 minutes in. Queensland are going okay, but they conceded 2 converted tries. Do you recall then the first Queensland try when Munster they had a great break down the left-hand side. What a game Cobbo had. We'll get into specifics shortly. He makes a great breakdown. You know, his directional stability is terrific. Makes a good break, they're in trouble. Munster comes through just off the ruck, which is on the left-hand side. Remember, he got out of balance, threw it over his head, went to Sam Walker, I think. Munster goes down then. So that was, Leora ends up scoring the try. It was quite interesting the way it came about. Munster was not happy being sent off for a HIA. Queensland get the try up and they're back in business on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and the thing you kind of in the lead up, there was a very good run from dummy half by Ponga.
Yes.
And then, as you say, the following on from that, where Munster hooks that pass back, Walker keeps the ball going, and there was a beautiful interplay by Max Plath to Trent Liero, and Liero scores. I mean, I thought it was a fantastic try. That was by far the best try of the first half.
And mate, there was that pass up to Liero. It was held up, like it almost waited for the defenders to overcommit. The gap was always there, but they decided they had to go, and it was beautiful. You put a bloke through a gap, the timing has to be perfect. So I think that was a very good hit back by Queensland.
Yeah, I thought it had a bit of everything in that try. It was a beauty. Now, and with the conversion, it's New South Wales 12 points to 8, which ends up being the half-time score.
So Munster has to go off.
Because when he was tackled, his head hit the ground, yes.
But you need then to replace, he goes up, someone else can come back on in that time. There was some speculation, particularly by the commentators, about, I wonder if they'll put Ponga at 5'8", because that was speculated in the first one. Well, they didn't do it, and let's say not they, but Billy Slater didn't do it. And I think that was, what Slater did was absolutely correct.
He put Cotter on. He put Cotter on.
And to replace a 5'8".
Yeah,
right?
but obviously not in the same spot.
Well, I don't know who played 5'8", because Ponga did, but it almost didn't matter. They almost played without a 5'8". Left and right doesn't really matter. But if you move Ponga to try and get a genuine ball-playing 5'8", for how many minutes? They're off for 10 minutes. Then you disrupt the fullback's play because he's not there anymore. So I think Slater is very astute, and part of the discussions about how the two teams go is apparently Laurie Daly has struggled with interchange, making, when do I change, when do I don't change, who do I pick? But Billy Slater, I think he reads the game well. He said, okay, I'll just put anybody out there Because these days everyone plays left and right, and you know whether the base got number 6 on his back, he can still
Remembering that it's not costing you an interchange because it's a head injury assessment, so you can just put someone on for that 15-minute period.
And in doing that, you don't disrupt your other structure. You just leave everyone else where they are and plug somebody in. And who was it then?
Well, Cotter was the one that came on the field.
So
but I think Ponga did sort of just vary his play. Ponga does that anyway. He'll come in first or second receiver either side of the ruck as a fullback anyway. So I think they just went with the flow. Walker took over a bit more, dominating what was happening on the play, because you've got to say throughout, Munster and Walker are both calling so many of the shots around the ruck either side. So I think Walker just increased his load and Ponga just filled in. In that period they did miss Munster a bit because they had a few opportunities and the attack kind of wasn't as good. But yeah,
it's only 10 minutes too, isn't it? If you haven't got the ball, Cotter's going to do all the attacking in the world. So that you're not at a problem in defence at all. You just line up, So I think it was a very good decision, and just comparing the speculation, mate, I've come up with a bit of it's not a rhyme, but when Munster goes for a HIA, and this is a very broad brush point that probably applies for the whole game, but Munster goes with, 10 minutes up to half time. Mate, somebody was out there, MIA.
Okay, tell me who.
Well, I'll tell you what my MIA acronym is. Missing in action.
Yeah, I figured that much out.
Yep. Who do you reckon was missing in action?
Well, this is what I'm asking you. I don't know.
I thought you'd... mate, Cleary. He did nothing. Remember we talked about him in the first game?
Yeah.
And, he had a very quiet game. And we're at this point, we're only up to the 30-minute mark. But and he's done that a few times in rep footy.
Yeah. Well, clearly the question mark over Nathan Cleary is whether he has put in winning performances in State of Origin. He's done it at club level, winning grand finals. He's done it for Australia. He's done it in some New South Wales performances, but not in enough. And so he's definitely, on the wrong side of the ledger at the moment when it comes to that. However, in this game, he clearly didn't have a great game. I don't think he had a terrible game. I would say that the mistakes he made were in the second half in defence. He made a couple of bad decisions.
That Collins try, he misread it from marker.
Exactly.
He overran it.
So he made a couple of bad choices there. And I think, in part, I've seen it from a few of the players in this game, including in the previous game, Munster, trying too hard.
Yeah, we missed it.
You're at marker and you're desperately trying to turn the game. And Cleary took off and Harry Grant was just laughing. He goes straight through. That's in the second half. So I wouldn't say that Cleary had a bad game so much as he just had an ineffective game. But my view of the first half is that it was pretty even. It's 12 points to 8. The score really probably doesn't reflect who should have been scoring
the
tries.
They were both attacking.
There wasn't much in it, and if you look back at it, everyone watching that game, the commentators at half time are thinking, well, New South Wales are pretty well set here to go on with things. They're leading 12 points to 8. It was relatively even-handed. I don't think either team dominated. Queensland, I'm just looking now, their completion rate in the first half, 19 out of 20. New South Wales, 16 out of 21. So Queensland were doing a bit better in that area. There's a lot of trading of bombs. Both teams had a few chances, created a couple of opportunities. New South Wales gets 2 tries with an element of luck for sure. Queensland score 1 try, very, very good try. I just think at half time this game was very much still there to be won.
It was. I would still qualify New South Wales got their 2 tries. They're in front, but they were, the best try of the first half was the Ora.
By a mile. Yeah.
So New South Wales had the scoreboard, but you're right, there wasn't much between them. And I think what often happens in the after you've been up 1, New South Wales, the side that's up normally puts a lot of emphasis on attack. They try and blow them off the park. Right. And I thought they did attempt. There was some good attack from both sides.
Are we still in the first half?
First half, yeah. Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is that the intent is to just get points. So I thought both sides, as you were saying, were playing pretty good footy. Now, Queensland, the second half is just amazing because they scored some of the best tries. We'll talk about them shortly. But just as an approach, yeah, I think I agree. One of the Sydney guys did mention whether, that it was a bit of a false impression, the scoreboard about who was. Anyway, it was pretty close, and therefore anything could happen. Then we hit the second half. What's your early thoughts there on how that progresses? So the halftime score, 12-8 New South Wales. Yep.
Well, what I reckon happens, and I particularly concentrated on what happened at the beginning of the second half,
Yep.
because that's where something happens, and it ends up with Queensland well on top.
Yep.
And if you're, it's only like a symptom of what happens. The first moment, Moses kicks off, Cobbo catches the ball, Cobbo makes a great run back upfield over the halfway line, beat Hudson Young's tackle just clean away.
Yep.
So that was a great start for Queensland. But as it turns out, for the first 6 or 7 minutes of the second half, both teams actually are just trading blows. You know, there's bombs, there's long kicks going from one end to the other. Everyone's catching the bomb or the kick and bringing it back. Yep. There's not a lot happening. And then, as I say, about 6 or 7 minutes in, Walker puts a bomb up. Tedesco is trying to catch it. Toya wins the leap over Tedesco. It bounces.
Yep.
Plath picks up the ball. Remember, Plath throws that overhead pass. Smart,
yes,
very smart play. Then Munster gets the ball and goes, oh, hang on, and just kicks to the far corner. And Cobbo takes it brilliantly, scores the try. And remembering that this is on Nawaka Wase's wing.
Yes,
he's on the right wing.
side.
But he wasn't to be side because he had come
drawn,
all in field.
Yep.
And in fact, all of the New South Wales players were drawn towards, like bees to the honey, where that ball's bouncing around. They see the threat over there. But Munster's just too smart for the lot of them. Kicks and Cobbo's just waiting unmarked.
Yeah, that's right. There was no one, and I think that's the feature of the one thing that I recall that set up that play too. As you say, it just built on preceding run. Now Jojo Fafita, who was, let's say in some people's eyes, a shock selection. People were saying Billy Slater's gone out on a limb here. Now I understand he had a terrific junior record. Like he's not. A late blossom or anything.
Well,
he was a beautiful
rugby union player.
Yeah, and a fantastic athlete. And obviously, there's a lot of good athletes in the game these days, not quite like us, mate. We just got there when we could. But I just remember both wingers, on a number of occasions, Cobbo scored a few tries, but they also made ground to set up the other side. And I thought that was very simple. And the other thing I loved about Munster's kick, and I'm surprised we don't see more of these when you do get them in a raid. New South Wales were, they were all hands to the pumps trying to stop the threat. There was, as you say, Walker's bomb. It became a double kick play, didn't it? Bomb,
absolutely, yeah,
loose
it did.
Ball picks up, as you say, Plath. But Munster, you got to have peripheral vision to do what he did. Some players can see who's the next bloke outside, and that's their source of information. He spots, as you say, Noah Tuasi out of position, so he doesn't put up a big bloody bomb. He just arcs it in the perfect
He just
arc.
kicks it to him, like a missile.
And they just, what I'm saying there is, I'm a bit surprised, and I think it will with all these kick tries. I think we're going to see more of those very adept crossfield kicking because we get another one in the same game, don't we? On the other side.
Well, I mean, I think Munster's a smart footballer and he's very talented to do that. But I mean, that's the sort of thing we've seen in the past. Cooper Cronk did it a number of times. Jerome Hughes has done it this season a number as well. So I mean, it's like a Melbourne Storm thing that's in the back of their head, and Munster reacts brilliantly. In fact, you talk about Jojo Fafita. I didn't, just to where I picked it up was where Walker puts the bomb up, but why Walker was able to put the bomb up was that they made a raid down the right-hand side, shifted it to the right. Fafita made good ground over the halfway, and that brings Walker within range to put a bomb up. Otherwise, you're just going to kick long again.
That's right.
But so one thing leads to another, and you can sort of, it's where you pick it up. But so Cobbo scores that try, canters over, Queensland hit the lead.
Okay, well, 2 tries apiece then. Queensland gets their second try. They lead again, they led in the very first play or early 2-0. Now they get their 2-point lead back, and it's only about 5 minutes later they go in again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in fact, just to pick
It
up
wasn't
on
this one hell of a try, this one.
well, just one reason that
Yep.
things worked a little bit better for Queensland there, because you're talking about luck before in the first half. Walker kicks the ball at one stage. Young is coming at him, turns his back, and it hits his arm, and the referee says 6 more. I think it's very debatable whether he played at it, but
yeah.
they got 6 more, so that helps.
Yes,
you know.
absolutely.
But then Queensland attacked down the left-hand side, and once again, Munster puts the bomb up this time. To'os finds himself in a contest with Toya. This is right in the corner.
Yep.
Jojo Fafita coming through, making the challenge difficult.
Yeah.
The referee makes the call that To'o knocked it on. Even in the TV coverage, they say, oh, will they challenge? No, they're not going to challenge. So it was one of those 50-50s,
yeah.
but a bit iffy as to whether it was knocked on. Nevertheless, you couldn't dispute it. And
They
they
packed
did,
the scrum.
and they didn't. They packed the scrum, exactly.
The scrum
And,
try.
and if you've got fast, talented backs, you should be able to score a try from a scrum. You can pick the
It's a
spot.
great attacking platform. Yeah.
It's a great attacking platform. I don't know why in the NRL they seem to have gone away from attacking from a scrum 10 or 20
Sometimes they'll
metres
just
out.
take the 10 on offer
Yeah.
and then try and...
I
wrap
don't
it
understand it.
in. Yeah.
But in this case, Queensland put on a beautiful play. I mean, it's just poetry in motion.
Yeah.
Sam Walker, draws him in a bit, then just floats that pass. Ponga's coming from a million miles away at speed, plucks it out of the air, gets on the outside of Staggs, and by this stage, Marky Mark on the wing, he's going, what's
Where did they come from?
And Staggs is trying to get across, and Ponga gives it to Cobbo, and again he just sprints over.
That
So
was like
another
5
brilliantly executed try.
And 5 minutes after the first one in the second half. So it's
But my point is, that scrum doesn't happen if there wasn't a bomb before it, which To'o could not take. That's the only reason that scrum's in that position on the
but
field.
you can if more, mate, because...
No,
it
I'm leading
happens
to something
from
here.
time to
Dave. Well, I'll tell you right now, what the Queensland domination, where they go from being down 12-8, 7 minutes into the second half,
Yep.
to leading 26-12 with 3 straight tries.
Yes.
It's all about bombs, and New South Wales not being able to handle the bombs, or Queensland being brilliant in the way they react and execute. Twice it's Munster's kicks, which is where we're heading.
As an ex-New South Welshman, do you reckon no contested bombs? Did you make it easier for New South Wales to catch the bombs?
Well, dare I agree with your suggestion from last week?
Yeah.
But
mate, look, yeah,
I just think
I hear what you're saying.
the bombs, or in this, really in Munster's case twice,
Yeah.
the long kicks, almost like missiles.
Yeah.
That is what broke the game wide open in Queensland's favour. Full credit to Queensland, and to Munster and Cobbo and for taking advantage.
Look, I agree with all you've said there, and good sides take advantage of the slightest slip up, because once you get to a slip up, the defence isn't necessarily ready for it straight away. So the best time to exploit a drop or something is to take it then.
React.
Right? Because sooner or later they'll restack again,
Yeah.
and it gets harder. It's the brick wall sort of thing. But mate, you don't see many set pieces, complicated set pieces in rep footy, because it's so hard to do, because a complicated set play within a club arena gets practiced for weeks on weeks on weeks. You know exactly where Cleary's going to go to turn this under, and you can almost do it with your eyes closed in club footy. What normally happens in rep footy, you basically play a standard pattern, and you rely on some individual brilliance every now and then to break it open, and then the reaction of other individual brilliance, and you get this brilliant try, but it's not a set piece. Mate, this was beautiful, and the way I recall how good it was, and they, obviously this wasn't impromptu. They have acknowledged, I think they have, it had to be, they practiced it.
Oh, for sure.
Ponga feeds the scrum.
No, he's at the scrum base.
And this is midfield. He fires it to Walker. Ponga then is on the path of running behind everyone, around almost halfway to the sideline. So almost 20 metres sideways he runs, and he gets the ball. And the other thing you've got to do with the pass that Walker did, he didn't sort of even look at him. I reckon it was almost, you got a sense when he's going to be at the position you practiced. Because what he does then is...
It's almost just timing.
Well, but the timing, mate, comes because Walker, as I fancied myself as a bit of a ball distributor, amongst other things.
Hang on. Now we're into what we call delusion.
Yeah. Or is it illusion? But what I've always advocated, and I say to the young kids...
Not, David, that you mightn't have been a ball distributor in the forwards. That was a thing. But you're comparing yourself to Sam Walker and Ponga.
I'm shattered now. I won't be able... But what I will say is, when you're going to run a play like that, one thing you've got to do, and when I coach players, if you pop the ball up in the air, like if you've got a bloke blind running behind you and you think, I've got to this point and he'll be there, if you lay it straight there to him, he's got a split second to get it.
Yeah.
If you just, and this is what Walker did.
Yeah, so soft and up.
Well, it's up. This guy, if he's running early, he can get it on the way up. And if he's running late, he can get it up. So you've
get more margin for error.
You've increased the chance, and that's exactly what Walker did. He came around and he didn't go like some of these, some of these no-look passes when they don't have to really get me. They'd rather look good than be good. Why not just pass it to him? You're not fooling anyone. But this one at Ponga, you can time it. If you pop a ball up, you've probably got a second in time on the way up and the way down again. If you just go bang, you're not. So Ponga didn't have to be there exactly in the split second.
No.
He just came around and picked it up.
But there was something else happened as well, because you're taking a big risk, aren't you? Like the average footballer who does something like that is taking a huge risk, and the ball is probably going to end up on the ground.
This takes high
or
skill
be knocked
level.
on.
Yeah.
So what happens on the outside as well is the hammer. Hamaso Tabuai Fido, he's out there as well. And you think, well, he played no part in this try. He played a big part in the try. He comes running straight.
The block runner.
And he's the block runner, and he pulls Staggs towards him. And so Staggs is caught and I get tackling him, and all of a sudden, you would never have expected the ball to be going back to Ponga the way it did. And that's why Ponga was able to get on the outside of Staggs more easily. Now, some people would say, what was Staggs doing? He missed the tackle. What sort of defender is he? Mate, that's really hard stuff. One-on-one with space either side against Ponga, who is so fast.
The move's got you, hasn't it? It's designed exactly to drag that bloke out of position because he's got two options. He's got to take one.
Exactly.
And if that doesn't work, the other one goes.
And mind you, then you might say, well, hang on, what was the winger doing? Where was Nakwana Witawa? It's a difficult name to say. Nakwanita Wase. What was he doing? Well, he sees Stagg going in, so he thinks, I better come in as well. But of course then, because Ponga gets on the outside, Cobbo can get on the outside.
Yeah, mate, look, and absolutely right. There were 5 players involved in that play, and Ponga was involved twice, only because he fed the scrum and then looped. So he touched the ball there. What often happens these days, remember in our day, there was only one person who put the ball in the scrum and one person who took it out, was the halfback, because that's what halfbacks do. Now, they don't do that anymore. You can put you can have anybody you like feeding the scrum, and normally you do have a dummy half playing in the so-called lock forward position, because it's like, that's exactly the role. It's like the ball being played, now it just comes through the scrum, and quite often, because it's quicker, you get the bloke is at the lock forward position, he breaks back, takes up the ball, and that's what happened. Harry Grant played his place too. He was the one played lock. Ponga fed the scrum, Harry Grant gets it. Now, Ponga is just ignoring all this, so it goes from Harry Grant out there to Walker, and Walker eventually goes bang. It was, mate, I have not seen many planned and well executed set moves in some of the clubs should have this bang. They got all their favourite little set pieces, right? We've been there.
But
Even
they don't
nowadays.
use them. I'm sure they practice them and then they don't use them because they're all too scared to make a mistake on the first tackle.
Mate, you're so, and yet these guys, and these are the best players, they weren't scared to use it, were they? It was it was a very intricate move, and I'm sitting there in the lounge.
No, it was thrilling. It was thrilling to me to watch.
I've seldom seen anything like that at rep level. It's normally, you go and play your own game, and sure you might have a little wrap around or something. So, to me, we got, that was our third try.
That was the second of the second half from the scrum. So with that Cobbo try from the scrum, Queensland are leading 20 points to 12, and then only 5 minutes after that, Grant makes a run from dummy half down the left-hand side, and links up with Ponga, and Ponga makes a break. So Kalen Ponga's name is popping up a lot, and G played well. He played brilliantly.
Funny you should say it. I did a bit of a rethink of the game myself just the other day. We said in the first one that the outside backs didn't get enough ball. Ponga was flooded with it, wasn't it? It was like every time we're going anywhere, we want him roaming and picking because he's so freaking good at it.
Yeah.
So all you got to do is give him the ball. He was all over it. I got a note here along the same lines. Ponga was just pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's so good at just giving a little pass. So he
and from a New South Wales point of view, when Grant runs from dummy half, Radley comes up, Victor Radley comes up, and he anticipates he's going to pass, and he goes past Grant, and Grant goes through, and at the same time Cleary's on the outside, and Cleary says uh-oh and tries to grab Grant.
Yes.
But he's too far back and he misses him.
And
people have criticised Cleary for that. Cleary didn't miss that tackle. Radley overran it. Radley overread it and overran it. So Grant goes through to Ponga. Ponga gets tackled by Stagg and Tedesco. Tedesco's out of play over there. And then Walker keeps it going to more towards the middle of the field, and Munster looks to his right. And out there is Jojo Fafita just waiting. And this time To'o is in the vicinity. Remember To'o trying to go backwards to cover it, but he never got to it.
He was in trouble.
And Jojo Fafita collects it. Walker converts from the sideline as he did all night long.
8 out of 8.
Yeah, fantastic,
He's
brilliant.
only a little guy. For him to kick so accurately, and a lot of them were, I mean, the wingers scored 4 tries, I think.
I know, on the sidelines.
So the tough kicks. And
So Queensland with that try and another kick involved, not a bomb so much, but another kick. 26 points to 12. All of a sudden, the game's been blown wide open. It's gone from New South Wales leading to Queensland being ahead by 14 points.
Which is the number you want. You know, any more than 12, you sort of got 3.
So really, to me, that is the winning and losing of the game there, even though there's more happens after that, of course, and the score blows out.
The beauty of the Munster crossfield kick again, it was almost a mirror image of what he did on the other side, wasn't it? So obviously they said, well, hang on, there's fertile fields here, and they did the same thing. And again, that means you're reading the play, you know.
And also he had a plenty of time to think about it and set himself, because New South Wales were rattled. They were racing back trying to cover the situation again. And so he just had all the time in the world and just put it on a spot.
All right, now the next try, mate, I'm very interested in your thoughts here, because when I was doing a little bit of homework this morning at my place, I had the grandkids there, and they said, what about that try that Noah Kawasi scored when, what's his name, Staggs came across and tackled the guy who offloaded the ball. So do you recall that?
Yeah, well,
knocks over Cobbo. Mate, and I've heard this from the commentators never mentioned it. They were going. So what happened was Cobbo came to Staggs and forced him to pass, but as he did, he's falling down. Now Cobbo was in front of him. Cobbo had to move to the wing. Anyway, as Staggs gets pushed by another Queensland player, he drops down and clips the heel of Cobbo, who was about to take.
Right.
And mate, there's if you stop frame it, there's some evidence and all the grandkids, I got them to take a vote, and two of the grandkids are from Victoria, so they didn't really, you know, it's not as if they were Queensland biased, but Victorians don't like New South Wales either, do they? Who does like New South Wales?
Victorians barry for Queensland, don't they?
But this is a true story. And I said, okay, you kids, you've just noted this, and you're at it. And the part where it all started was my daughter, who doesn't really follow rugby league much at all, happened to be watching a highlight package, and she saw it herself. So what did she heard the comment. So what happens is, as Stags is falling, and Cobbo is trying to move out to take Noah Kawasi, Stags go, and he bumps into Cobbo, and as he's falling to the ground, Cobbo's feet are right under him, and there's an action to show he grabs his foot. Doesn't lift it off, just grabs it.
Stags grabs Cobbo's foot.
Correct, which stopped Cobbo getting...
I haven't seen this.
Well, mate, what made it really interesting, when I watched it on the night, I didn't notice that. But I remember thinking, how the hell did Noah Tawasi score that? Because it looked to me like he did a shuffle.
To be honest, I was mesmerised by what I thought was, and I still think is, the brilliance of Noah Tawasi, because he's going, he holds back, and he goes again, and that misfoots Cobbo. Cobbo sort of thinks he's going to go back inside and stops, and then he can't go again. He accelerates so quickly.
So I thought the same thing when I'm watching it, Warren. I'm thinking, he's done it again. He's just done that little shuffle, and I'm thinking, the way Cobbo, how was he bamboozled that much from, you know, just looking from afar? I just saw the thing, I didn't see who touched who. Then when you look at it, there is a strong case to say the reason Cobbo didn't move out and take him full bore was he got one bumped into by Stags, and that can be incidental or accidental, but the last little action of grabbing his foot, and I did a survey at home, and 3 of the grandkids voted that it was definitely hooked on. So, but look, I thought that was it. That aside, it gets New South Wales back within 8 points. So the game is on. Like, Queensland have had pretty good leads up until then. Yeah. So,
and as I said, that was only 4 minutes. That try is only 4 minutes after Fafita's try.
Yep.
And really one of the reasons for that was, if you remember, Collins got hit in a heavy tackle, and it dropped the ball. So New South Wales end up in possession.
He did get hit, yeah.
But so that's...
Did he get HIA? Was he?
Don't think so, not then.
Yeah.
I don't. So that's 26-18. And then 3 minutes after that, so all this is happening so quickly, between the 47th minute and the 63rd minute, you know, there's 5 tries, 4 of them to Queensland. I don't think he did get HI because he scored that great try.
I did too.
Later,
the one
later on. But the Queensland quickly hit back again, and I remember Cleary on the fourth tackle sort of kicked upfield. It wasn't very deep. Strange. It wasn't high. I don't know what was going on there. Ponga brings it back to the 40, and pretty quickly Queensland are attacking again. It goes from Walker to Ponga to Hammer, who Cleary does misses the hammer there. Yep. And you know, it's just that scramble on the sideline, and Cobbo kicks the ball ahead,
rubber kick,
and it bounces nicely. Yep. Hamaso Tabai Fido finishes it off. So another very good try by Queensland, and you know, and there's not much luck involved in that kick. That's just great football.
No, mate. Coming back to the Queensland perspective on that, what do you think of the shot on Ponga by Stags? He goes on report.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Weren't you going to mention that?
No.
Weren't you going to mention that? Hang on. I've got something else here, mate.
No, well, I'm trying to...
Look, mate, put that over your left shoulder a bit. We want to block out. Just put that over there a little bit, right?
Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's better, mate.
Righto, there you go.
Let's get that
perspective.
You are.
No, funnily enough, in my notes, David, I've just written Ponga hit by Stags, and I was thinking, what was that? And then I've written about...
You should use highlighters like me, mate. There's my notes. That's a front rower's note. Now, have a look at the winger's note.
Right. I'll just move it a little bit aside of the microphone. But the reason I wanted to talk about Sarah, I knew you'd want to talk about that.
Yes.
Yep. But why I thought it was important to just keep these tries coming. That try makes it 32-18.
Yeah.
32, and once again, the game is absolutely dead.
How far in are we then? We're sort of...
This is
15
the 63rd minute of the game.
Okay, so
17 minutes still to
17
go.
minutes to go.
And
back
it's
to a
32-18,
14
and back to 14-point
Yeah,
lead.
yeah.
And Stags get sin bin. So then New South Wales have got no chance, because if Queensland can't score more, at least one more try, if not two, in that next 10 minutes, which only leaves about a few minutes at the end of the
sin bin
game.
all right?
So here's the question. That is the question. I know what your opinion will be on it. I think the sin bin was the right decision, because you can argue about whether Stags always tackles very aggressively.
Yep.
You know, that's his risk.
True.
And that's the risk he takes.
Rush, yeah,
and he comes at you hard.
Yeah.
And he's coming at you high. So,
That's
you know,
not
if he
good.
gets into strife, you know, it's on him. I think the shoulder does contact the head, but I think it barely does. I think he comes up and hits him there, and then with his sort of upper arm, and I've watched it about 1,000 times, he hits him with his upper arm, and then I think his shoulder does come up and kind of meets his head. Now he makes contact, so you know that's enough to be sin binned, and because it was reckless as well. But if you watch Ponga's head, at one point, like his body gets hit, his body sort of bends back, and then his head sort of
Gets out of the
ricochets
way.
back.
Yeah, pulls out.
But then Ponga gets to his feet, stands there, readjusts his headgear,
stays on
walks
it.
back and stays on the field. In other words, I think his head got touched by the shoulder,
you
but
think
I
it
don't
wasn't
think his
forceful?
shoulder came through with any force.
All right, mate.
So that's why I think it was a sin bin only.
I'll answer it with one word, and that might... I'll check your reaction. We all want consistency.
Yes.
Ponga gets sent off the game before.
Yep.
A lot of it we just said then, did he really hit, you know?
Yeah.
So
And
if
by the
they
way,
want to be consistent,
But remember, consistency from the referee or the bunker, but you and I agreed that Ponga shouldn't have been sent off in the previous game.
well, that's my whole point, mate.
But they're different anyway. They're different.
Well, I think they're very similar. I think Ponga shouldn't have been sent off, and I don't think Stags should have been sent off.
Do you think he should have been sin binned?
Stags?
Yeah.
No, but what I'm saying
Yeah,
is...
but do you
if
think he should have been sin binned?
Absolutely. The
Yeah.
true ruling for both, in my opinion, for consistency of similarities and nothing's exactly the same, I would have sent them both to the sin bin, right? But they didn't.
No.
They sent the first bloke off.
Yeah, I know.
So based on consistency, Stags, based on consistency, not on the measure of force and everything else that applies, because we're all debating Ponga's whack, consistency would say neither. So once you send the bloke off, you've got to be consistent. You send the next bloke off.
Well, there's a number of factors. One is you can't ignore 3 weeks of debate that happened after Ponga. So is Ashley Klein going to be exactly consistent with what he did that time, because he after all the debate about whether he was right or wrong that time, so that's one factor to take into
So
account.
you're agreeing he wasn't consistent? He
No, I'm
changed-
not
he
agreeing,
changed
and
his
I'll tell you why. And here it comes, David. Apart from the fact, because they never supposedly take into account whether the player got injured. Kohler couldn't continue in the game, didn't play the following weekend. I don't know if he played for 2 weeks, but I think he played the second week. He was seriously injured, one way or the other.
But not by Ponga. In the tackle by Ponga, but
Well, it
his
was in
head
the
hit
tackle.
Ponga's ear. There was no...
Yeah.
Yeah. So how he
But
got injured...
in the case of Kalen Ponga,
Yeah.
he wasn't injured. He wasn't even tested for HIA, and he was perfectly okay.
But surprised a lot of people. with his
Yeah,
record.
and I'm surprised as well, because he has suffered concussion in the past.
Yeah.
But the next factor in this debate, David, are you ready to be king hit? Bad choice of words.
Hang on. I'll put this on now just as a protection. All right.
Okay. I wondered afterwards, because it got so little publicity, because it didn't influence the result of the game, the Stags sin binning got barely a mention, I thought. It hardly got, maybe in some pub corners and stuff, but I thought it got dwarfed by the fact that Queensland smashed New South Wales and didn't get 1/10 of the
And
the
Ponga got up
discussion.
and played on, mate. If
Yeah.
Ponga had to go off for a HIA, so in other words, the independent doctor, you're right, he's seen it, and his opinion he's saying
There's nothing there.
You know, even the referee's already made his decision, and quite often
Yeah.
the doctor will have a look at it and say, irrespective of what you said, he's got to come off.
Yeah.
Now the fact he didn't, I think, downplayed. I was amazed with his record of Ponga. I know the head wasn't. It looked probably worse than it was, the collision. You know, so. But when
But I haven't got to McKing hit yet, David.
Oh, I thought that was it.
No.
I'm going to go.
So, so
I should have bought some boxing gloves.
after the lack of discussion about it, I thought, now whatever happened to Stags after the game? What action was taken against Stags after the game?
Well, the action taken is different for rep footy than it is for club football.
Well, that's
so
true.
what was it?
But do you know what it was?
No.
Does anyone know what it was? Okay.
What
tell
they
you.
normally do is fine them these days for rep footy and not send them off because the club pays a price.
Yeah. So, in the case of Ponga,
Yep.
it was called a grade 2 shoulder charge. And the judiciary gave him a lesser punishment. I
Yeah.
think it was a percentage,
Fine?
20% of his match
Yeah,
fee or something
okay,
like that.
yeah.
It was grade 2 shoulder charge. In the case of Stags, they said, the review afterwards said grade 2 high tackle. Now a shoulder charge is regarded much more seriously than a high tackle, because if you're tackling, you're still using your arms, you're still putting your body in that position.
Yep.
They're really down on shoulder charges because
The intent,
you can keep your head and everything else out of it. It's like you're a weapon,
Yep.
and
Yep,
Ponga's was a
agreed.
shoulder, and that is the difference, and that is
Of
why
the penalties or the fines they incurred.
I don't even know what the fine was on Stags, to be honest. But I can understand. But that would be a reason that Stags was sinned in. I'm looking for an excuse for Ashley Klein.
yeah.
That would be a reason why the bunker or Ashley Klein said, "Oh, high tackle." No, and that one was a shoulder charge.
Yep.
But I don't think Ponga should have been sent off in number 1 anyway.
Yeah, well, if they were consistent, neither of them would have been sent off. Yeah. All right, mate. What about the next
Did I knock you out or not?
No. But I am moving on to the next great Queensland try.
I know, there's more.
But how good was this try as well? And it shows the importance of a dummy half. In the game, it is they can exploit, and this was evidence to the T of how important a really good dummy half is.
Yeah. Can I go back one quick step?
Yep.
After the last try, New South Wales go back to halfway and kick off. Tedesco doesn't kick at 10 metres.
What was going on there? He was standing.
He ran around
He
to
was trying to
kick it
try
back
and-
that way, but he just didn't kick it properly.
Tell you what, mate, once you kick
the ball didn't go 10, so penalty Queensland, and away they go. And before you know it, as you say, Grant runs from dummy half, very smart. Cleary's taken off to tackle somebody
he
else,
left early,
left
didn't
the
he?
huge hole.
He left early, but see, then Grant spots it.
So can I take this off now?
No, definitely not. You pushed it. But mate, the beauty there was Grant spots it. There's other dummy halves that don't see that bloke leave.
No.
And they just, got the blinkers on. Well, Harry Grant is so good at doing that.
More than that, do you see Harry Grant's eyes? Before Cleary even goes, Harry Grant's looking, he's kind of trying not to be
all
seen
about
to look.
deception, isn't it?
He's,
Yeah.
he's seeing, and he thinks, he can just smell it, it's instinct.
And he
can
senses-
smell
yeah.
maybe Cleary's going to go.
And bang, he went.
And then as soon as Cleary takes a step, Harry Grant's through it.
He didn't do any dummy at all. He might have come out with the ball
I
ready
think
to
he just
pass.
sort of comes out
Which
like
is
this.
enough to-
Yeah, enough for Cleary to take off.
Yeah, and mate, who was having a spell on the other side of the mug? Because he goes between Cleary and Payne Haas.
Payne Haas.
How did he go in the game?
Well, no,
MIA.
Haas was the second marker, and he went to the right. He went to cover the right-hand side of the ruck.
But at the same time, if the other bloke leaves, part of your job is to close that back out again.
But
I'm talking about.
I mean, it's
overall.
harder. It's harder to react from when you've already moved to the right
Yep.
to come back. But
Absolutely.
it's Cleary's fault.
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
And Lindsay Collins, what a run! That was outstanding. It must
One-
have warmed the front rowers' heart.
Well, mate, would have been standing back on the halfway just clapping it because to see what happened in a split second. Now, normally you're not thinking Grant's going to get 20 metres through the ruck, right? Front row, you're hanging back. Well, he might run for a dummy half, and I'm ready here for the next ruck. He backs up over that,
Yeah.
a 30
Yeah.
metre try straight up the middle of the ruck.
Yeah,
Now that
yeah.
doesn't happen very often.
No, that
but
was-
mate, coming back to Payne Haas, he was super quiet. His stats, I think, were very average. I don't remember him. Now, I did say I had a tip for Payne Haas that I'd hold over to once State of Origin is finished.
I don't think Payne Haas was quieter than anyone else. I just think we expect more of him,
Well,
and I think he was just average.
But that's the bar
Yeah.
I'm putting on.
Yes.
He's come back. Wow,
Yeah.
Payne Haas is back now. It makes you wonder whether he's fit. Right, he was out for all that time. Was it
Yeah.
back, what was it, a back injury or?
Yeah,
Could have
whatever,
been.
I forget.
I think
but yeah.
it was. So, and if you've got a back injury, you're not as agile.
No.
The whole body is
Well,
affected.
just maybe
So
not
I-
as match fit anyway.
Well, yeah.
But I
he-
still think
he's got a motor, mate.
he
I
went
think-
okay.
Yeah,
He-
well,
he
but
just-
he was meant to be one of the devastators, one of the blokes. So
Mm.
I just put that up. Here's the two markers. Cleary runs before he should have, and we've got to say, you know, he didn't. I don't think he did much in the game at all. And then Haas, so two gun players end up
yeah.
singly
Well-
or collectively getting it wrong.
Well, as I said before, I think Cleary was guilty of trying too hard, and a player of his experience shouldn't have fallen for that. He should have. You've got to watch the marker. You can't go until the marker passes it.
Especially a halfback, mate. They shouldn't overrun anything because they're quick enough.
But
to
he
get
was.
there
But
anyway.
Cleary was trying to make a difference. He was
Yeah.
frustrated because they're losing. He's trying to shoot to the first receiver and put some pressure on, but he made an awful blunder. Awful blunder.
Didn't look like the best player in the world to me. Yeah, okay.
No, I have to agree.
Have we got any more Queensland tries coming up, mate?
Yeah, you're enjoying this too much.
I don't think we'll bother previewing the next one because we're going to win it anyway. No, we'll do that shortly.
Well, yeah, just to wrap it all up, Queensland were attacking. They went close a couple of times, and what happened?
Munster to Ponga tap on.
The Queensland actually got six again a couple of times, so they had New South Wales on the ropes, and then it's just tacked down the left-hand side. Munster's got the ball. Cotter as a decoy out to Ponga. Lovely tip on from Ponga.
Aren't they good at that these days?
Yeah,
that little
yeah.
flick on that. Again, that's not easy to do.
No.
A lot of times they do it, and so it can go anywhere.
It's hard enough to catch the ball, let alone tip it on.
But Ponga's one of those. He's just got
Yeah.
silky hands.
Yep.
He's so good.
And Hammer sends it on to Cobbo, and there's Queensland's
Away you
7th
go.
try.
Didn't he play well, Cobbo?
Yeah, fantastic.
And I'm not like he must have nearly got man of the match. That was the debate around whether it should have been Sam Walker, and Walker again was terrific. And you know, he's proved a lot of people. You know, some thought he couldn't handle it. You know, all that sort of stuff. He's terrific. And Cobbo, I don't think it's born again. I think he's better than he's ever been. Like he started as a great young kid, then he lost his way and lost interest in whatever at the Bronx. Had to get out of there. He's playing. And as I say, mate, it's not just scoring tries. Every collision, he is winning. You know, he takes a 10-metre run down a blind side and he barrels the bloke trying to tackle him. You know, he never used to do that, and not many wingers do it, you know.
No,
So
he's so
bloody
powerful and fast
Yeah.
at the moment, and motivated.
very close to man of the match,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the 7th Queensland
that's-
try then. What are we leading
That's
by?
44-18.
Oh,
And
that's
there
how
is
sweet.
one more try, but it was New South Wales.
Yeah, but mate, that was just a
Barnett.
concession. I think
And they had-
we'd bundied off then. We'd sort of...
Well, New South Wales had a bit of luck involved in there and got six
Again, they
six
get more
again
luck then.
twice.
They get more luck.
And Barnett scores. So yeah, just a lot of to take the momentum going into the third Origin game.
Yeah. So 7 tries Queensland, 4 for New South Wales, 1 late in the piece. Mate, it's interesting. I did a check on the referees' involvement. Penalties were 5-2 in favour of Queensland, but the 6 agains were flipped around. New South Wales got 6 agains, I think, to Queensland.
4, I think, was it?
Was it 4?
4. 4 to none.
Yeah. So overall, it was pretty even. When you add up, you know, these days you've got to take penalties and the 6 agains.
Yeah.
The 6 agains going to be inside the 10 or a ruck infringement.
And for the whole game, Queensland completed at 95%. You know, which is just near perfect.
Exactly. That is, you know, that's top shelf. And
New South
what it
Wales
does,
80.
And Well, you add that, mate, to, as we said after the first game, the firepower in that Queensland backline, and we'll start to compare it shortly with the New South Wales backline, which is pretty brand new, coming into the third one. That is one hell of a firepower backline. But as we said in the first one, Queensland didn't seem to use it enough. I'll tell you what, they used it all right. They got the Ferrari out, and they were just firing it everywhere. Now that, what's his name was off, Staggs was off for 10 minutes in the back end when we were doing
and while those last two Queensland tries were scored, Staggs was in the sin bin.
Yeah. Now, mate, just remind me what the score was again. What was the score at the end of that?
Come on. You're making me wear this as it is. but yeah, that's why the point I was making before, that the influence of kicks and bombs for tries when Queensland established that 26-12 lead, which was really in that first 16 minutes of the second half where it all happened. In fact, there were 3 tries between the 47th and the 56th. So 9 minutes, Queensland scored 3 tries and just blew the game apart.
And to add to that, they scored the first 2 in the second half as well. So they scored 5 out of 6 tries in that second half run.
Yeah, well, and really that's where it was won and lost. And then they just blew the score out to 44 while Staggs was off the field.
Which, mate, I guess is the segue. The reason we've gone into a lot of detail on that is I think you've got to really understand what the two sides, what the coaches were, how they've gone, how the sides played, to say, okay, how is Queensland going to keep that going? And more to the point, and this is where you'll come in, mate, how will New South Wales try and improve? Because I'm not going to mention that side of things. I'll just. But mate, this is a great segue. We've got a decider as well, which is fantastic. It's at Suncorp. I've never seen a bad State of Origin game, and there's none better than at Suncorp.
Just to put the line under what I was sort of talking about in the second game before we move on.
Yep.
The number of kicks, the stat for the number of kicks
in general play,
general of any kind in the second State of Origin match, 21 kicks by New South Wales, 28 kicks by Queensland, 49 kicks in 80 minutes, 1 in every 2 minutes. The bombs, the count on the bombs I think is incorrect. It says 6 for New South Wales, 5 for Queensland. I think they're probably some of those kicks, which we were talking about, like with Munster, for example. I don't know if they were counting them as bombs, but they probably weren't really a bomb.
Well, not, but they were
because
still
I'm
kicks,
sure there were more bombs than that in the game.
Yeah.
And the grubbers, 6 grubbers by basically Sam Walker, 2 for New South Wales.
So what's the total kicks for each team?
The total kicks is 49. 21 versus 28.
Oh, that's total, is it?
That's total kicks, according to the official NRL stats.
For the whole, that's okay. So these don't add on to that. These are components.
No, they're components of that. I assume, yes.
They see.
All I'm saying is, what a lot of kicks, but more importantly, the ones that New South Wales couldn't handle contribute in a big way to cost them big time.
Just on that, though, mate. I mean, there's a lot more kicking in the game, as we've said before, kick tries and all this sort of stuff. But when you think of it, if you control possession, in other words, you get to the end of your 6, that, unless you score a try, it's normally a kick. So every time you hold the ball for 6, I don't know how many sixes over all that. So the end of play, the end of a 6, often finishes with a kick, because you've got to get out of trouble if you're the attack side. But if you're...
Well, if you're in your own half, you're probably kicking long. Up, or maybe in your own 40, and once you get over the halfway, you're probably putting a bomb up. Or if you're inside the 20, you might be putting a grubber in, like Sam Walker will be, or Munster will be grubbering, and so would Cleary or.
That's right. You've either got clearing kicks or you've got an attack kick at the end. So that if you get to the 5th tackle, you're going to kick it.
The only thing that breaks the cycle is if you go through the hands and try and score in the corner.
Exactly. Yeah. which.
Or dive over from dummy half.
Yeah, well, that's right. Just take it out. Yeah. All right. So, mate.
So should we wrap up Origin 2 there?
I think so. I mean, just to put it in context, New South Wales had won after Ponga in the first one. Ponga had been sent off, so Queensland were possibly the better side. Were the better side for a long time. This one here is flipped that on its head. This is. They don't lose anybody. They stay on there and they score 7 tries, and that is a convincing State of Origin win. Off the back of that, you've got to say New South Wales have got problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's have a look shortly on exactly what that means, because we'll.
And
have you got plenty of time just to run through the?
and you've got to say as well, again, just wrapping up Origin 2, fantastic performances by Grant, Munster, Walker, Cobbo, Ponga, Tabawai Fido, all of the backline. Fafita, I didn't even mention Fafita.
No.
Just outstanding performances by the Queensland backline. Can you find a player from New South Wales who went close to matching his opposite number?
No, you can't. I did a similar sort of check when I looked at the two teams for the next one. I sort of marked up the ones I thought had gone really well in the other one. So looking at the new sides, who were really effective before and therefore are potentially a threat again, and who not. One of the things that's interesting in this modern game, and this is my little ticks in that chart, there wasn't many forwards, apart from I think Harry Grant, that actually dominated. And what I'm by saying, they just get in there and do their job and set a platform. So they're not.
Totally agree.
They're not the Rolls Royces or the Ferraris out wide that. They do a lot of hard work. Don't get me wrong. And you got to look at there were tackle counts. Reece Robinson topped it at 45, and Reuben Cotter 33. So they're playing well, but they're in the trenches, aren't they?
I totally agree. I mentioned those guys who I thought were outstanding, but everyone else in the Queensland side just did their job. And I also agree with you. I think the two forward packs are relatively even. I think they're just kind of matching each other. I don't think there's been outstanding performances by the Queensland forward. They've probably been a little bit better, and they keep coming at you a little more.
Yep.
But New South Wales forwards have kind of been mostly going okay.
It's interesting, mate. Like even in our day, I mean, the front rowers are the big boys. They crashed up the middle and all. But your second rowers, like the Bob McCarthy's or some of they were beautifully running second rowers, The job of the second rower these days isn't quite, if you can do it, well and good, but they're just an edge forward. They get the second pass off the ruck and go, or they defend in the right position. So I think the game has changed, that basically attack sits right out wide, wingers, centres, fullback, and then it starts with halfbacks, and the dummy half can dominate, create things for the game. But everyone else is just doing their job.
Got to do your job.
Yeah. So there's a bit of that. So,
well, I think we should take a quick break, David, and then we can think about the decider.
Come back tomorrow. And all right, mate. Good idea. I can't wait for the decider. Back shortly.